So I have finished explaining my aspirations. Now, a session with regards to responding to Plan B, the podcast called Plan B, which I believe made some slanderous statements against me. It seems that they joined in the smear campaign. Now, my first point to Plan B is this. You should learn from another podcast called Ya Lah, but two non-Muslims, one Indian, one Chinese. I respect them because when they speak about me, when they speak about the hoo-ha surrounding my aspirations and my meeting with WP, they were very, very careful with their words. And they were very, very respectful. This, I believe, is the spirit of the new Singapore. I am disappointed looking at my own brothers, my Muslim brothers, one Malay, one Indian, one Chinese, say things about me liberally without doing fact checking. Not 1, 2, 3 wrong information about me, but too many. I hope I have time to address them. Now, point number one, Darren. He said that he's a Muslim now. Darren, the Chinese guy, said I made certain allegations about a particular party. That I said there is only one party that entertained my aspirations and has been disavowed. Where this party said that we have never agreed to anything. Now this is wrong. This is slanderous against me. That meeting did take place, and I never said that they agreed to anything. Not only you guys, but many other citizens of Singapore and also many news portals, they read the writing of some influencers without checking my original post and without checking my clarification, jump to conclusion. That is exactly what happened. I never said that they agreed to anything. In fact, in that posting, as what I've mentioned just now, I said, if they agree, if they promise, then I will do this. What does that mean? What does if mean? That means it didn't take place. I thank them because of their willingness to sit and listen to my aspiration. That is what I mean by WP sahut permintaan Aziza. Sahut tu apa? Assalamualaikum, waalaikumsalam. Macam tu, itu sahut. Sahut doesn't mean agreeing. Sahut means responding. Sahut by saying no pun sahut juga. That's why ini masalah bila tak tahu sangat bahasa Melayu, kan? I wrote in Malay. Salah faham. So, Brother Darren, the first statement saja dah salah. Okay? So, WP bukan disavow. Even though it seems that they disavowed me. Tapi, I didn't say they made any promises. It is the media that says so. So, WP terpaksa dah nafi. So, Darren, you should make a fact check first before saying this. And then, throughout the podcast, one of them, Zar Ismail, said that, oh, I don't know what the past guys say. There are many things that they do not know, but they attempt to talk about it. They themselves say that I do not know, we do not know, I'm not sure if my memory serves me. No, you cannot do that. You have to have this, my quotes, my statements in front of you. You have to do proper homework. Let me ask you a question. Will you do the same thing to a PAP minister? Will you speak like that? Will you show that kind of demeanor if you are talking about a PAP minister? You will not. Will you quote him liberally, paraphrasing, assuming, I don't know, but that's unjust, brothers. That's unjust towards me. Brother Rahman, another one, said, Rahman said, race and religion is completely irrelevant here because he is comparing to Malaysia. In Malaysia, race and religion become the point of political campaigns. But race and religion is completely irrelevant here. Again, I say, if it is completely irrelevant, then remove Article 152.2 from the Constitution. And remove the post of Minister in charge of Muslim Affairs from the Cabinet. and remove AMLA, then race and religion is completely irrelevant. Okay, they also raise regards to, oh, he's not accredited, he's not a real ustaz, he's not recognized. Okay, dia tak pernah dapat ARS. I will disagree. I say I was accredited before. Again, I would like to repeat this. I was in a fatwa committee before. I was the executive officer for Muslim Thinkers Department in NIM Mosque. I was funded by MUIS to attend Building Abrahamic Partnership in Hartford, Connecticut, US. So how come you can say that I'm not accredited? But these points, you cannot find them on the internet. That's the problem. That is why if you want to be a podcaster, you should do more work. You cannot be lazy. You can contact me. You can ask me, verify with me. Not everything you can find online. And not everything that you can find online is accurate. You see? So it's not right for you to say that I was never an accredited asatiza. No, I was accredited before. Okay? If not, you're accusing MUIS for, appointing someone who is not accredited to be in the fatwa committee. Okay? You're accusing NIM Mosque of employing someone who is not accredited ustaz to be the executive officer for the Muslim Thinkers Department. So you have to settle it with them, not with me. Okay. And then they talk about, oh, he didn't comply with the code of ethics, He refused. That's worse. They even say that. He refused to comply. That's worse. My suggestion to you, go and ask ARB. Which part of the code of ethics that I refuse to comply? Okay, so jangan cakap sembarang lah, brothers. Jangan cakap sembarang. Kita check dulu. Kita semua ada pertanggungjawaban bila kita bercakap tentang orang lain. Kita kena ada keadilan. Kita kena ada justice. Kita kena ada hormat. Walaupun kita tak suka orang tu. Even if I do not like Netanyahu, I have to speak factually about Netanyahu. No, I cannot say, oh, he's actually he's a real shaitan, like shaitan, his parents are not real human beings, Yeah, I have to speak the truth. I may say, metaphorically that he's a shaitan, but what is correct about what he said is correct, even though we hated him so much because of what he did. But we have to be factual. وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ عَلَىٰ أَلَّا تَعْدِلُوا اعْدِلُوا هُوَ أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَىٰ. Right? Don't let your hatred for a people cause you to be unjust. Be just. That is closer to taqwa. In another verse in the Quran, be just even if it is against yourself. So the Islamic requirement for justice is very high. You have to be just even if it is against yourself. And then he said, Zar Ismail tried to paint me as someone who fights with everyone. When he was in Singapore, he tried to establish dinar dirham because got riba lah. He didn't work in Singapore, went to Malaysia, established a small group, didn't work there as well. When he went there, he joined these tariqat Sufi circles. And then he fight there also. And then after that, he joined some Aswajah circles. He fight also. And then he joined the Wahhabi Salafi circles. He fight also. And then they say there seems to be a pattern here. Is that not slander? Right? You're trying to paint me as someone who fights with everyone. Let me correct something. We want to establish the dinar and the dirham in Singapore. Yes, we did promoted the use of dinar and dirham as payment in Singapore. And we got support from many shops who are willing to receive and accept gold and silver as payment. And it is, guess what? It is not against the Singaporean law. If the shop agrees to receive or to accept gold and silver, they are allowed to do so. There are just some compliance that they have to do. They have to file their tax accordingly. Tapi it is not against this law of legal tender. That means you must only pay with Singapore dollar. No. If two parties agree, I sell you shoe, you want to pay with dirham, with silver, no one can come in and say this is illegal. So I say, why not? During that time also, the government of Singapore encourages the Singaporeans to buy gold. So the Muslims, we, during that time, we say, you know, the currency itself is the problem, but we understand we cannot change this overnight. But at least allow gold and silver to be traded widely, and more, what you say, more traders should accept it. So we started at Arab Street in Singapore, and many shops, and we distribute stickers. Dia macam apa, Mastercard punya stiker tu, tapi dinar dirham. Tengah gold, dinar, sebelah silver coin, sebelah fulus, copper coins. Fulus are copper coins. For small items to buy, nak beli teh tarik apa semua kan, takkan nak pakai dirham. Dirham besar, right? So copper coins ada, kita ada fulus. Itu dalam sejarah Islam ada benda ni. So not only because ada riba, because Islam, tak, because the whole world is suffering from the problem of fiat currency. Everyone is suffering from inflation. Why? Because money can be created out of nothing. That is the problem. Itu masalah dia. Bukan hanya pasal riba lah, haram dan sebagainya. Betul, that's part of it. But it's also bring benefit to the society. It didn't work in Singapore. I refuse to say that it didn't work in Singapore. It did work. Until today, if people want to receive payment in gold, tak ada masalah pun. Maybe lepas dengar benda ni, nak start balik. Kat Malaysia buat lah. Mana boleh government masuk campur? Macam you nak trade barang, kan? You jual kereta, I bayar you dengan my financial service, for example. Boleh government kata, oh, this is illegal. Boleh dia. So nak tukar dengan gold, boleh. You pergi kedai makcik, beli ayam, beli ikan, saya bayar dengan perak, boleh tak cik? Bagus pakcik, perak ni dia kalis inflasi. Kalau saya bayar makcik dengan RM, dia akan dalam masa 5 tahun, 10 tahun, dia akan jatuh nilai 20%, 30%. That is education. Initially also banyak orang tak faham. Dia kata apa ni kan? Nanti macam mana saya nak tukar? Kita kata bayarlah gaji staff you dengan gold and silver. Let me ask you now. Do you want your gaji to be paid in gold and silver? Is this a solution or is this a problem that I am introducing? Is it something crazy, radical? Cannot be done at all? It will destroy the economy. No. Of course we say introduce it partially, gradually. Bukan tukar overnight. It will benefit the society. Everyone experiences inflation. Every one of us. The money in our wallets loses value. Duit yang you simpan dekat dalam bank lose value unless you buat investment. Unless you beli gold, then selamat. Bitcoin too volatile. Gold and silver safe. So, I wouldn't say it doesn't work. It works. And then you say that I go to Malaysia, try to study, it didn't work. No, it works. And I'm not the one who established it in Malaysia. There are Malaysians who try to work for it. Even Tun Mahathir. Remember? He suggested that idea that we should start trading with dinar, with the Muslim states. And Gaddafi suggested that too. Single African currency, gold currency. Crazy if that were to happen. Imagine what will take place in Africa. They have gold. They don't have to buy. Right? Burkina Faso. Now, you know, the world is looking at Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traore. Where did that young man came from, I do not know. But I love that man. He's young. How old is he? 30 plus. Subhanallah. Read about Ibrahim Traore. It's a phenomenon now in Africa. Today I heard that the African generals are also supporting him. Why? Because America is threatening them. Because he allow French, the colonizers punya armies out of Burkina Faso. Because he said that you are, you know, making us poor by taking from our land. Dan America, of course, bila dia dah kena macam tu, bila Europe kena macam tu, dia threaten lah. They use a black African to give a threat. that we need to get rid of Ibrahim Traore. So the next target will be Ibrahim Traore. They have done to Saddam, Assad, Gaddafi, many others. Now they are targeting Africa. But the African people, they are not surrendering. Amazing, if you read what is happening now in Africa, some of them volunteer protecting the leader, Ibrahim Traore. Duduk kat tengah jalan just to make sure that the terrorists do not come. Coup d'etat did not happen. Common people, because of their love for their leader, Ibrahim Traore. May Allah protect him. If he is on the right path, if he is sincere, we pray that he will be successful. Okay. And then what? I come into tarikat circle kat sini. No, it's wrong. I then come into Sufi tarikat in Malaysia. I joined the Sufi tarikat in Singapore. Okay, that's why I say check your facts. Jangan cakap sembarang. Okay, nasib baik I ni bukan jenis saman kan. Ada orang dah suggest untuk saman lah. Don't worry. You can still sleep peacefully at night. I'm not that kind of person. Okay, I give you chance to apologize, but you refuse. It's okay. Let me correct you. Maybe you don't realize what is your mistake. Apa salah kita kan? Now let me explain to you. Berapa banyak salah you buat sebenarnya tentang I. You dengar daripada siapa pun I tak tahu. You bilang I, daripada siapa you dengar cerita ni, berani tak orang tu nak datang jumpa I? Nudrus berani. Siapa yang cakap tu? Sebut nama dia. Berani tak? Cakap depan saya, Nudrus go through this. Oh, dia join tarikat circle dekat Malaysia. Apa benda join tarikat circle dekat Malaysia? Tak ada. And then he say, fight also. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. I joined the tarikat Sufi in Singapore. I left them peacefully. We did not fight. Where do you get this idea that fight? La ilaha illallah. See, that's fitnah. Another fitnah. Senang-senang je beli saman, tahu tak? Tapi tolonglah, I tak nak buat benda tu. You cakap, you salah, you tarik balik je. It's okay. Kan? Even some segments, the Malaysians don't like him. You cari makan in Malaysia, you rocking the boat in different circles. Now you turn your attention to Singapore. What kind of a statement is this? Talking about a brother that you don't even know. Yet some people in Malaysia don't like me. Why? Because I here cari makan, but I rock the boat. Debate here, debate there. Wallahi. The debate about Ibn Arabi, am I the one who called for it? No, I wrote my opinion on my Facebook. I was invited by ARG. Are you ready to join the dialogue about this? Am I the one who started the fight? Did I target that posting to Malaysians? No, I spoke about Ibn Arabi in general. They invited me. Do you still want to call it, oh, he fight? No, that's a dialogue, that's a debate. Janganlah immature sangat. And then after that, he joined the Salafi circle, also fight. Okay, Salafi circle memang ada fight sikit. But I still love them as my brother in Islam. Itu debate ideas, debate thoughts. If they want to see me as an evil person, orang jahat, it is their prerogative. I don't see them as evil people. I look at it as a debate. Nanti kita akan lupa. Bila ada masalah yang sama, kita akan datang berjuang sama. I'm able to do that. I'm able to forget all of that. And I bukan cakap je, I buat. I don't hate them. So it's not a fight. It's not a fight. Many of them have still good relations with me. Alhamdulillah. Yalah, ada tegang-tegang, ada debate-debate, biasalah. Itulah demokrasi. Kan? Itulah kemajuan. Boleh argue our case without brawling, right? Both present their arguments. Both berdegil. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. Tak apalah. Let the ideas battle with itself. Ni kita cakap pasal demokrasi, tapi kita tak faham demokrasi apa benda. The battle of ideas is central in Islam also. Let the ideas battle so that the strongest akan naik atas. The strongest yang akan kekal. Itu baru kemajuan. Itu baru intelligence. Itu baru menghasilkan orang-orang yang benar-benar bijak. Because apa? Yang ganyang idea sampai ke akar. Tak apalah, kita hormat satu sama lain sajalah, tak apalah kan. You pendapat you, I pendapat I lah. Itu jadi masyarakat yang dol keropok. Itu jadi masyarakat yang lemah. Sebab apa? Dia tak berani nak present idea dia dan tak berani untuk idea dia diserang. Itu tak akan menghasilkan masyarakat yang pandai. Masyarakat pandai dia akan contestation of ideas. This is what I have to say. Attack my idea. Dia ada parti pula cakap, this is my idea. Now you attack my idea. Kalau tak jatuh, barulah kita ikut. Itulah idea yang kuat. Dia tak boleh ditumbangkan. That's how it is. But I understand some people are not ready for this. But just mengaku je lah, tak ready. Janganlah kau pergi cakap aku bergaduh. Janganlah lembik sangat. Kan macam tu. Then he did say, he tried to, try to be objective. I appreciate it. He said, Zahar Ismail said, I understand where the anger came from. Tak dapat ARS. But if you go down that path of personal vendetta, you end up in tunnel vision. You think you are right. The other panelists say, toxic, you become toxic. Talking about who? About me. I don't know any of them. They don't know me. Talk like I am their brother, grow up with me. I understand where the anger came from. As if I fought this because I am angry. Will you tell the Hamas people, oh, you fight is because of your personal vendetta, because Israel kill your parents? Why don't you say you fight for justice? I believe that injustice has been done upon me. So don't I have the right to fight for it? Why you use the word personal vendetta? Who are you to say that I have personal vendetta? I love all of the asatizahs in ARB. I don't have anything personal with them, wallahi. But injustice must be addressed. Suddenly tunnel vision lah, suddenly toxic lah come out. Ya Allah, Ya Rabbi, Ya Fattah, Ya Alim. Careful, brothers, careful. You will be questioned by Allah in akhirah if you don't make istighfar, you will correct this, I'm no one, I cannot threaten with anything. I do not want to threaten you with anything. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching, brothers. Allah is watching. You have to be careful with your words. This is the dignity of a Muslim brother that you are attacking. And then he says, whatever he spews, not even whatever he says, whatever he spews. If he live here long enough, 5 years, maybe he have a say in this lah. If you spend a very long time away from Singapore, not understanding how we have progressed, you are out of touch. Ya Allah. How long I have left Singapore? Brothers, if you want to know, I come back to Singapore every week. Every week. It's not that I left Singapore for 5 years, stay in KL, enjoy hura-hura here, and then talking about Singapore from far. No, I came back to Singapore every week. Apa susah you nak check benda ni? Apa susah you nak verify benda ni? Message je lalu start. Betul ke macam ni? Call lah. Don't tell me you cannot get my number. You know some of my friends. So, do I have the right or not? I come back every week. You sound as if I'm not a Singaporean anymore. There are Singaporeans living out of Singapore still talking about Singapore politics. They are passionately concerned about what is happening in Singapore. They still have the right. Apalagi I balik selalu. My family ada dekat Singapore, ada dekat Malaysia. Sorry lah. I have to speak about myself. I have to defend myself. Okay. So throwing rocks far away. Daripada jauh campak batu. For your information, I wrote my aspirations and post it in Singapore. Okay? Ya Allah. I met WP in Singapore. I wrote the postings about WP in Singapore. I don't have the right. I'm throwing stones from far. Some of them said that, some of the commenters say, oh, Ustaz, why don't you just go appear in their podcast? They have invited already. I say, I can, I'm willing. But there are conditions to be met. What is the condition? Number one, apologize that you make mistakes. That you speak about me without fact-checking. Number two, edit that episode. If you do these two things, I will accept your invitation. And in that session, you can challenge my point of view. Bismillah. You can attack my views. You can attack my position. I invite you. But those two things you have to do first. Why? Because I do not want to encourage unethical podcasting. If I were to accept your invitation, It's as if after this, everyone can say anything about anyone and then ask the person to clean the mess. Correct? Oh, let's talk about A. A is this, A, B, C, D, E, F, D, nonsense here, nonsense there. No worries. Next week, we call him to clean this mess. What if your episode watched by 10,000 people, but the second episode watched by only 3,000? Will you be responsible of the 7,000 who believed your fitnah against the person? This is my exact criticism to Sautuddin also. Sautuddin claimed that, oh, okay, it's okay, we feature Sajjad, but after that we call an ustaz to correct the wrongs that Sajjad have said. I disagreed. He called me and I said, you cannot do that. You see, you have to delete that episode. You giving him airtime, you did not even give any pushback in that session. And many people give comments, oh Sajjad bagus sebenarnya, Sajjad okay, saya sangka buruk dengan Sajjad. Suddenly everyone forget about the sin. This is not right. Even if you call an ustaz to correct, how many views the ustaz will get? Sajjad get 250,000 views for God's sake because of you. Will you be responsible in front of akhirah? If some people say, oh sebenarnya okay, tak ada masalah juga, he's a good person. Suddenly, a big sin is normalized because you giving them time. Unless you can bring an ustaz who can attract 3,000 views also, 300,000 views, right? Then insyaAllah boleh bersihkan balik. Initially, he wants to call me. Berapa ramai tengok? Ramai tengok Ustaz Nodros, next, kan? Asyik gaduh je kerja dia, kan? Manalah views kita sampai 200,000. Paling tinggi pun pergi berapa? Itu pun Ibn Arabi punya, itu adalah 100,000. Lain mana sampai? You kalau panggil you akan dapat paling tinggi pun lah 7,000, 8,000. Atau maybe 10,000. So lagi 200,000 orang yang dengar Sajjad tu, kita nak bersihkan orang, siapa nak bertanggungjawab? So this is unethical. Be careful of these podcasters. Don't do this. Cakap sembarang, lepas tu suruh orang yang bersihkan. Tak boleh macam tu. Itu tidak ada etika. And then what shocks me, there's a fourth panelist. The fourth panelist is an ustazah. The ustazah, I'm sorry, what are you doing there? You're hearing people doing mengumpat, backbiting. You don't even raise a word. You should, brothers, we should not be talking about someone else when you can actually invite him, but you didn't invite him. Have you fact-checked? Have you verified your information about him? Because I do not want to hear someone mengumpat about someone and I'm here not saying anything. Dr. Alania, that's what you should be doing. If you're truly educated, if you're truly educated, that's what you have to do. Don't tell me, oh, I correct them behind closed doors. Come on, don't give us that. Because the fitnah is being made. You have to stop them. You have to amar ma'ruf nahi munkar. That's the role of an asatizah. But no, you allow them. You don't even correct them in the session. But I want to also applaud Darren, because it seems that out of the four, Darren did the most homework. Okay? Darren tried to defend me, saying Nodros' argument is that restricting and limiting Muslims disavows the secular state. Because someone said that this is a secular state, you cannot bring these ideas. But Darren said, no, that's precisely his argument. His argument is that Singapore is a secular state, so there shouldn't be any control over Islam. So Darren understands that point because I wrote it in my inspiration. Hats off to you. Thank you for doing more homework, even though you made some mistakes, but don't worry, I'm a forgiving person. Okay. That is true, betul. That is my argument. And Dr. Alania, to me, the whole session, even though she did not mention my name, but there's a degree of strawmanning my arguments. She said that, oh, Muiz is unique, Amla is unique, many other people aspire to be like us, there's no other place like this. She even said that, no other countries like this. I was shocked. Doktor sebelah dia. Jakim doktor. Kan government juga yang menguruskan haji, menguruskan zakat, menguruskan macam-macam benda. Macam mana boleh kata unique to Singapore? Tak bolehlah macam tu. Salah tu. And then, my argument is not about saying MUIS tak ada baik langsung. Tak bagus ada masjid kat Singapore. Kan? Tak bagus ada zakat kat Singapore. Tak bagus MUIS uruskan zakat. I'm not saying that. Wallahi, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about religious autonomy of the Muslim community. They want the leaders that they themselves choose to lead them on religious issues. Why don't you address that point? Address that point. The intelligent ones, when they look, when they watch, they know that you are stepping the core issue actually. She even say, if we are not grateful for this, I'm not sure what we can grateful for after that. It's like we have to be grateful. That means apa? Tak boleh criticize, tak boleh cadangkan benda lain. I am grateful of it. I'm grateful ada masjid kat Singapore. Tapi janganlah guna argument tu untuk don't ask for more than that. Correct? Itu tak adil. Tak boleh. So, brother, what's his name? Brother Rahman said that British give respect to personal laws. The origin of AMLA is that British give respect to Muslim personal laws. But Darren interject by saying, so you don't bother our politics and economics. See, Darren is a little bit smarter. Betul. That's what British wants. You Muslims, you be busy yourself with your salat, puasa, zakat, haji. Economics and politics, let us handle. That's why they buat AMLA. Because they also want to administer how we perform our ibadahs. Takut sangatnya diorang kepada kebangkitan orang Islam. So dia nak kawal benda tu. Dia nak kawal benda tu. So Darren ni dia perasan. Nodros wants to abolish AMLA law. So what do we replace it with? AMLA is good, blah, 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 blah. I ask for either repealing AMLA or amending AMLA. It shows that I do not see AMLA as totally bad or totally good. Again, I repeat, the thing that I am requesting is more autonomy for the Muslim community to manage their religious life. Okay, so do not strawman me. Do not misconstrue my arguments. Okay. Dr. Alania said, if AMLA abolish, then some would want their own law. I'm not sure what will happen. So they talk about chaos now. This one wants something, B wants something, C wants something. Kan kita ada Pergas. Pergas is independent. Remember the unity that we once had with Pergas? During that time, Pergas wasn't with the government. Pergas was not co-opted yet with RRG, RRG being the link of co-optation. Pergas was independent before. Tak ada pun kecoh, tak ada pun orang bergaduh benda yang bukan-bukan. Boleh, orang Islam boleh manage themselves without government control. We can manage ourselves. And we have proven that we can manage ourselves. So don't pin that scenario that kalau tak ada AMLA akan chaos. Ni either or situation, either this or that, either control atau chaos. So there's something in between. Zar said, we human beings, we need law lah. As if I'm saying that we don't need law. Ya Rabb, Ya Fattah, Ya Allah. This is binary thinking. Okay, I'm ending soon. Yeah. So they're proud about Tudong, Dr. Lania, claiming that maybe she has contribution. I appreciate everyone, Pergas, any asatizah who work behind closed doors in order to get the government to allow Muslim professionals to wear their tudung. I appreciate all of them. We never downplay, we never say, oh, it's not important, it's a waste of time. La ilaha illallah. I've never said that. Anyone ever heard I said that, say, ni semua tak ada faedah, tak penting, buang masa je. No, these are all important. But what I want you to ask is why the government take 23 years to allow us? Why do we need to even organize task forces for tudung? Task force studies, closed door sessions for tudung. Ya Rabb, Ya Fattah. This is the elephant in the room. You should not be targeting me. You should ask the government. Why? Why is so difficult for you guys to allow us? That is the question. Even Darren said, oh my God, after 10 years, he's thinking, he's thinking. None of them, the panelists, none of them mentions Article 152.2. None of them. None of the media also. That means you're not being objective. That is the crux of my argument. I begin my aspiration with that. I quoted that. Why? Because I learned from my religious studies. Always begin with the most authoritative texts. Correct? Always begin with the Quran and the Sunnah. And the position of the scholars. So when it comes to politics of Singapore, of course I cannot put the Quran. The highest authority will be the Constitution. So I place the Constitution there at the beginning, so that we can agree on something. We can begin with something that all of us agreed on, the common point. So that task force behind closed door, to me, it's shameful. It's not something that we are proud of. But I appreciate what the Asatidah is doing. But I'm questioning the minister in charge of Muslim affairs. I'm questioning MUIS. Why do you allow us to go through that for 23 years? Why? And then Darren closed by saying, I as a Chinese, I hear this question like, some non-Muslim ask, why Muslim have this problem? It's like, to them, it's a problem that we problematize these things. Tudong lah, this, that. I hope that question is sincere. I hope that question is not a rhetorical question. And then when people explain, you don't want to listen. Understand the importance of Islam to the Malays. Maybe your conception of religion is that religion is just for personal, for family. No, that's not how Muslims see Islam. That's not what Islam is. Islam is a lifestyle that encompasses every aspect of human life. You cannot come to us and say, why like that? Extreme are you all? Cannot. This is our deepest belief system, deepest. If you ask us to give up on that, it's like asking us to give up on the most important aspect of ourselves. It's like you're telling us, either you compromise on that, or you cannot be a good citizen of Singapore. That's not fair. That's not fair. Okay. So I would like to remind, my last point, I would like to remind Plan B with what Plan B themselves said at the end of the session. Don't quote us out of context, Quote us correctly, Don't quote us out of context, Zahar Ismail ended that podcast with that. I would like to remind you of what you reminded your listeners of. Okay? And I would like to end with that. Don't worry, I don't have grudges against you all. I just want to correct this. I'm not a person who likes to fight, but I like to debate things. Let us make things clear so that we don't have su'uzon, we don't have bad opinion of one another, we don't hide things. I say it as it is. What is in my mind, what is in my heart, that's what you heard. I don't keep things in my heart. So don't worry, I will not sue you for defamation or whatever, but I request, as Muslims, a short apology. Apology for what? Because we said things without fact-checking, that's all. We said things about Nodros without fact-checking first. And please edit that episode. And if you want to invite me after that, inshallah I will come. If you don't want to invite also, no problem. Okay? All the best to you. All the best to everyone who loves Singapore, who loves the country, who wants good for the country. May whatever we've shared contribute to the betterment of the country. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this from us. May Allah protect me. I know I'm taking a big risk, but I think it's time that these things out publicly. And I appeal to the goodwill of the government of Singapore, my government, to allow this, to loosen the grip, to loosen the control, and to leave behind draconian laws that happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I believe we are in a new phase, new Singapore. This is my appeal. But I'm just a normal citizen. I have no power. I have no money. The only thing that I have is conviction and my love for the country and my love for my religion. Thank you. May peace and blessings be upon all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.